Pundit of the Year 2018 at the FSF Awards. Of course, Gary Neville. Gary, you beat off competition from one Jamie Carragher. You're 4-2 up against him now in these awards. You must be delighted with that.
I know, he won one of the years when I was in Valencia as well, so that's the only reason he won one year, I think.
I didn't think we were going to mention.
It should be 5-1 really. What happened in that other year as well?
They were feeling generous.
No, yeah. I mean, look. Obviously, I love doing the games. That's who we're trying to communicate with, the supporters at home, and try and connect with them, and that brings ultimately an added little bit of information sometimes, I hope, and also some passion. We love the game, and we have to bring that sort of pub chat sometimes into the home, and people enjoy it. I enjoy working with Jamie, I enjoy working with the other lads at Sky as well. It's a privilege, and games like yesterday, the Arsenal-Tottenham game, were fantastic. Brilliant. You don't even need to. It's not working. It's incredible just being able to be at a game like that. So I love doing what I'm doing. Yeah.
And how have you seen it change, the punditry game over the years? Because obviously you're a more modern day pundit, I suppose you could say, with social media and so on and so forth. You appreciate that comment. One of the younger pundits, you could say. But you've seen it change a fair bit, I'd imagine. What have you sort of relished about those changes and certain things that may be a bit more trickier?
I think what I've seen change most is pundits. I believe probably in the last 5-6 years, more's demanded of them, and more should be demanded of them in terms of content drive, establishing what the content's going to be. I firmly believe that if you're going to be a pundit, you need to be passionate at what you're speaking about, which means that you have to get involved in the stuff that you're delivering. So I think for me, it's about making sure you have a great relationship with fellow pundits, commentators, producers, directors, to ensure that when you go on there, it's your stuff that's being delivered, the stuff that you feel most passionate about. So take a show like Monday Night Football, for instance. You have to be all over that in terms of what the thought process is behind that show, in terms of what we're going to actually put out on air. We're doing it next Monday, and it'll be probably, I would say, post games Wednesday. We'll start to think then about what we're going to do on the Monday and put an awful lot of thought into it and try and preempt and create angles. So I think in terms of punditry, pundits now have to have a greater, I think, input into what's going on into the show. They can't just, if you like, just turn up anymore. The idea that you could just turn up and answer a few questions, to me, that's not punditry. That's doing an interview, and that's not what punditry is about.
Absolutely, yeah. And in the summer, of course, you were punditing on England in the World Cup and whatnot, away from Sky and onto terrestrial TV. Was that an enjoyable experience? I'd imagine it would have been, considering how well England did.
Yeah, it's the first tournament that I've ever done from a point of view of sort of being in broadcasting, and I really enjoyed it. It was a brilliant experience. I was bit nervous at the beginning in terms of how it would be. I had the question, like I suppose most people did who were thinking of going to Russia. You heard all the stories. I think originally it was spoken about, would I go for 2 weeks, half the tournament, or go for the full? And in the end, I sort of thought, well, it wouldn't work for me just to do something sort of half road. So I said, no, let's do the full thing and go for it. And it's it was a brilliant experience. It really was. Working with ITV, Russia as a place for the month was fantastic. Obviously, England's performances added to it in terms of obviously the interest and the excitement. I really loved it, and something I'd love to do again.
Yeah, and obviously you mentioned Monday Night Football. People will know and have enjoyed that programme where you get a lot more time to talk about the games and so on. Whereas when you're on ITV, perhaps you've got a very small few moments to sum up things and talk about. I would imagine you'd prefer the longer form because you get more of your opinions out there. Did you find it more challenging to kind of do the short, sharp kind of punditry, I suppose?
No, the format in the World Cup was very similar to what you would have for a Super Sunday. We had 45-minute build-ups, hour build-ups sometimes for England games. We had then obviously the sort of 3 or 4 minutes at half-time, and then your period at the end was the same. Monday Night Football is a unique show. Monday Night Football is the most challenging show that we do. Absolutely. I mean, Super Sunday and, say, the England games in the World Cup, they're simple in punditry terms compared to Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football is 4 hours of live television. You're on your own. Whatever happens, in terms of the game, you're there at the end. Obviously, you're on your own. You've got presenters, you've got producers, you've got directors. But the reality of it is, we've got to create that hour of content at the end between us very quickly sometimes, and we've got to react to what's happened off the game. You've got to deliver analysis at half-time on a touchscreen when you might have only seen the goal 2 or 3 minutes before. So in terms of demands, Monday Night Football is a completely different level in terms of sort of focus, concentration, demands. The games in the summer with England and obviously say Super Sundays, completely different again, but less demanding in terms of obviously of them periods of what would be lull while the game's going on, so you can reflect, you can discuss it with other people. Monday Night Football is just so fast. You know, the idea of you don't know what Carragher's going to say, you don't know what Dave Jones is going to say, you don't know what the producer's going to come in your ear. He might come in 1 second and say, right, the manager's coming in now for an interview, get off what you're doing, then you have to come back to it. So it's so reactive, Monday Night Football. It's not an easy show to do, but it's the best show to do. It is the most demanding. So I wouldn't liken the two and say that, you know, it's not more challenging to do the sort of what would be live game in terms of a normal studio. It's definitely more demanding to do Monday Night Football.
Right, so many of us enjoy it, Gary, so well done with that, and congratulations on your award. And maybe next year it'll be 5-2.
Yes.
Who knows, or 4-3, you never know.